country is in a revolution. They're sick and tired of what they're getting, and I happen to be lucky enough to be part of it.
What if our foreign policy of the past century is deeply flawed and has not served our national security interests? What if we wake up one day and realize that the terrorist threat is a predictable consequence of our meddling in the affairs of others and has nothing to do with us being free and prosperous? What if war and preparation for war is a racket serving the special interests? What if the American people learn the truth?
We have allowed our nation to be overtaxed and overregulated and overrun by bureaucrats. The founders would be ashamed of us for what we're putting up with.
And if you think our government should police the world and spend hundreds of billions of dollars on a foreign policy that we cannot manage, buy this. I believe that when we overdo our military aggressiveness, what it does, it actually weakens our national defense. I mean, we stood up to the Soviets. They had 40,000 nuclear weapons.
Just come home. We just marched in. We just found out. We can achieve much more in peace than we can ever achieve in these needless, unconstitutional, undeclared wars.
The principle, the moral principle, is that of defending liberty and minimizing the scope of government.
I think that's critical.
They have to have a document, a national special card. Absolutely.
A tamper-proof card, a database.
Name, date, birth date, biographic information.
Dr. Paul.
I am absolutely opposed to a national ID card. This is a total contradiction of what a free society is all about. The purpose of government is to protect the secrecy and the privacy of all individuals, not the secrecy of government. We don't need a national ID card.
Would you work to phase out the IRS?
Immediately.
The CFR exists, the Trilateral Commission exists, and it's a, quote, conspiracy of ideas. This is an ideological battle. Some people believe in globalism, others of us believe in national sovereignty. And there is a move on toward a North American Union, just like early on there was a move on for a European Union.
Inflation tax, it's a tax that nobody talks about. We live way beyond our means with a foreign policy we can't afford and an entitlement system that we have encouraged. We print money for it, the value of the money goes down, and poor people pay higher prices. That is a tax.
We've lost over 5,000 Americans over there in Afghanistan, in Iraq, and plus the civilians killed. How many more do you want to lose? How long are we going to be there? How long? What do we have to pay to save face? So what we must do is very simply the restoration of law, restoration of the principles of the Founding Fathers, restore the revolution that once started. Freedom is not something new and strange, and neither is it ancient. It's recent. Fortunately, the number of those who care are growing exponentially.
Paul won with 31%, beating out frontrunners like former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney, who received 22%.
President Obama has 42% of voter support, and Representative Ron Paul, 41%. Wow!
Why are they so scared of Ron Paul?
Well, Ron Paul makes a lot of sense, and more people ought to listen to him.
It's time we quit this. It's time. It's trillions of dollars we're spending on these wars. You've heard the war propaganda that is liable to lead us into the sixth war, and I worry about that position. Iran does not have an air force that can come here. They can't even make enough gasoline for themselves.
As the race for the Republican nomination heats up, There is one candidate who has been largely ignored by the mainstream media. Shame on us. He deserves more attention from us than he's getting.
We're in absolute panic mode because they've looked at the numbers and they know Ron Paul is the real front runner in the 2012 election.
We have a top tier. It is Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann.
We have a new top tier, and it's Perry, Mitt Romney, and Bachmann.
There's now a top tier in this race, at least for now, of Romney, Perry, and Bachmann.
I mean, I think that's fair to say. Really fair to say? You're not forgetting, I don't know, anyone, say an ideologically consistent 12-term congressman who came within less than 200 votes of winning the straw poll? Isn't anyone going to give that gentleman a little vote?
When Ron Paul ran for the Republican nomination in 2008, he talked about the economy imploding, the untenable nature of the national debt, the eventual destruction of our currency, and a limited role for government. In the 4 years since then, a lot of the things Ron Paul warned us about have happened. We're deeper in debt, a lot deeper. The dollar is worth quite a bit less, and the country is more divided maybe than at any time since the Civil War.
Pretending Ron Paul doesn't exist for some reason has been going on for weeks.
A new Gallup survey showing Rick Perry running second to Mitt Romney, knocking down Iowa favorite Michelle Bachmann to fourth.
Behind who? The media does remember Ron Paul. It's only to reassure themselves how there's no need to remember Ron Paul.
Right now, live, right next to the bus behind us, Ron Paul is speaking.
And guess what, Paul? If you get video of Sarah Palin or get a soundbite from her, bring that back to us. You can hold the Ron Paul stuff.
If ever a presidential hopeful embodied the notion of personal freedom and fidelity to the Constitution, it would be Texas Republican Congressman Ron Paul.
He's gotten more money from the military than all the other Republicans combined, and he's gotten more than Obama got. Think about that.
You set the record. In the history of American politics, nobody has ever raised more money on a single day than you.
Gosh.
Ron Paul, a visionary who predicted the financial crisis, a leader with a plan to solve it. The Paul plan? Balance the budget. Cut $1 trillion year one. Eliminate 5 federal bureaucracies. End the foreign wars and nation building. Rein in the Federal Reserve. Pay down the debt. Cut taxes to create jobs. Ron Paul, a plan to restore America now.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
We now are a nation known to start war. We feel compelled because of our insecurity that we have to go over and attack these countries to maintain our empire. We have over 700 bases, we're in 130 countries, and we're talking about bombing Iran. It is such a dramatic change from what is truly American and truly constitutional.
I don't want to run the world. The Constitution doesn't give me the authority to run the world. We ought to mind our own business is what we need to do. Spending overseas, wasted money. This is a continuation of a revolution. It is a peaceful revolution. It's up to you to spread this message around this country. This is an American cause. It's a cause of freedom. There's something going on in this country, and it's big. Spread the message. Thank you.
Young Christian Conservatives is an organization for young people who believe in God, liberty, the Constitution, and the hope of a better tomorrow by advocating liberty, conservative fiscal and social policies, smaller government, and personal responsibility. Help us to continue to promote the conservative values our founding fathers stood by. We understand that the government's role is to provide the people the freedom necessary to pursue their own goals, not to control every aspect of our lives from cradle to grave. Join our movement today as we continue to grow. Whether you're young at age or young at heart, together we can make an impact and get things done. Visit Young Christian Conservatives now at YCCNATION.com and learn more about our mission to promote individual liberty, reduce the size of government, and restore America, so America will still be here for our children. YCCNATION.com.